Hello class, kumusta kayong lahat? Pagpatuloy natin ang ating discussion sa value-added tax. Okay? This is my third video lecture from the time that I started this series of lectures sa business and transfer taxes. Okay? So ngayon, pag-usapan natin, ano ba yung nagiging basis natin sa VAT? Paano ba natin kinukompute? Last time, pinakita ko sa inyo, inintroduce ko sa inyo yung mga concepts on output VAT or output tax, the input tax, and even the VAT payable. So, ipapakita ko sa inyo sa pamamagitan ng mga proforma na computation template. Okay? Now, sa Pilipinas, sa setting natin dito sa bansa, 12% VAT yung ginagamit natin, we will have to compute 12% based doon sa ating tax base, kung ano man yung ating basis ng VAT. And papaano ba natin ito dinidetermine sa atin dito sa Pilipinas? Yung 12%, either kukumpute natin sa gross selling price or sa gross receipts. Okay, eto makikita ninyo dito sa ating table. Eto sa kaliwa, yung nature of transactions. Nasa kanan naman po ang tax base. Kung ang pinag-uusapan po natin ay sale of goods or properties, nagbebenta tayo ng mga tangible items, mga nahawakan, mga goods, okay, or yung mga properties, real properties, ang basis natin para makompute yung 12% VAT is your selling price, the gross selling price. Kasi 'di ba previously present natin it is based on either the gross selling price or the gross receipts. So sa video lecture din natin sa ngayon, ipapaliwanag ko po sa inyo yung pagkakaiba ng gross selling price at saka ng gross receipts. Okay? For sale of services kasi, ang gagamitin natin na tax base is yung gross receipts. Meron din tayong importation, although sa video lecture na ito, nakatutok tayo dito sa A and B. But kapag importation ang pinag-uusapan natin, ang tax base natin ay yung total landed cost. Pagdating naman sa dealers and securities, gross income naman yung pinag-uusapan natin. Okay? Focus tayo dito muna sa sale of goods or properties na ang tax base ay yung gross selling price. Please take note of the following. Okay? For us to determine the VAT, okay, etong bottom figure dito. How do we compute for that? Okay, kapag ang basis natin is the sale of goods or properties. Alam naman natin sa financial accounting, meron tayong gross sales, di ba? At yung gross sales, ina-applyan po natin ito ng mga sales discounts, sales returns, allowances. Okay? From the point of view of a merchandising type of business, di ba? Dapat kayo dito kung nakapag-intermediate accounting na tayo. Gross sales. Yung gross sales kasi is magkano yung sales before i-apply natin yung mga discounts, returns, and allowances. Pag discounts, ito ay mga kabawasan sa ating selling price, di ba? Diskwento. Pag sales returns, ito yung mayroon tayong mga ibinabalik because maaring defective yung product or may sira. So we have to return. O kung medyo man, nagpo-provide na lang yung seller ng mga allowances, hindi na ibinabalik ni buyer yung items. So sales returns naman po tayo dito. So in any given case, ito ay magiging kabawasan sa ating gross sales. So that is why we have to deduct it for us to arrive at the net sales. So XX yung gross sales minus sales returns minus sales discounts, we will arrive at ito, kung meron mang tax, i-add po natin siya. Okay? Please take note of that. So yung net sales plus the excise tax, if any, that will be our tax base. We are on the seller point of view. That is why, yung tax base natin, pag minultiply natin yung 12% VAT, ito yung tinatawag natin na output VAT. Of course, dahil bumibili din tayo, syempre, pag buy and sell, di ba? Pag merchandise type of business, para makapagbenta tayo, bibili din tayo ng mga paninda. At yung mga binibili natin ng mga paninda, subject din yan sa VAT. Kasi yung seller, yung pinagbilhan natin, nagcha-charge din ng output VAT. tayo bilang purchaser, that is our input VAT. So we have to deduct it for us to arrive payable. In case na yung output VAT ay mas malaki sa input VAT. That is why excess input, excess of the output over input. Pero kung sakaling maging negative yan, ito yung makikita ninyo na excess input VAT. Mas malaki yung input VAT as compared to your output VAT. So hindi siya magiging VAT payable. Sir, ano po ito, VAT payable / excess input VAT? Pag positive yan dito sa baba. Pag naging negative yan, ito yung mag-a-apply, the excess input VAT, which will be an asset. Okay? Pag VAT payable, syempre, liability. So we are liable to remit the net amount, output minus input. Whatever is the balance, we have to remit it to the BIR, to the Bureau of Internal Revenue. Yan po yung ating format, yung template natin in determining the from sale of goods or properties, which is based on selling price. Okay? In computing the taxable base during the month or quarter, yun, yung pinakita ko lang sa inyo, ninanarrate lang natin dito. The following shall be allowed as deduction from the gross selling price. Yung gross selling price natin dito, class, is this one. Yung gross sales natin. So, yung deducted ay itong mga sumusunod. Of course, your discounts. Pero please take note that when we are talking of sales discounts here, it is determined and granted at the time of sale. Expressly indicated in the invoice. Nakalagay talaga sa invoice that these are discounts. Okay? Pag sales returns and allowances naman, meron akong in-underline dito, for which a proper credit or refund was made or a credit memo was issued. So dapat meron tayo ditong reference supporting document na kiniklaim natin na meron ditong sales returns or sales allowances. Kasi merong proper refund or merong credit memo na na-issue. Okay? So that is our basis. During the month or quarter, in-issue to the buyer. Please take note, we are the seller. So dapat meron tayong documentation na magpapakita na inisyuhan natin itong credit or meron tayong na-i-provide na refund. Otherwise, kung wala tayong maipapakita, wala tayong deduction dito. Magagamit natin ito lamang gross sales kasi wala tayong pang-substantiate. Wala tayong pruweba na meron nga tayong mga discounts and returns. Okay? So please take note of that. Now, gross selling price, which is the tax base, di ba? Pag sinabi natin gross selling price, it is the total amount of money or its equivalent. Money or its equivalent for which the purchaser pays or is obligated to pay to the seller in consideration of the sale. Total amount of money or equivalent, okay? Which the purchaser pays or is obligated to pay. Please take note of the term. Hindi ko lang nalagyan ng emphasis, Obligated to pay. So when we are talking of gross selling price here, we are not talking of actual cash. Pwedeng receivables, Obligated to pay. Ibig sabihin, meron kang receivable from the customer. Okay? In consideration of the sale, barter, or exchange of the goods or properties, excluding VAT, hindi kasama si value-added tax. Okay? Yung selling price is the 100% only. Now, the excise tax, if any, shall form part of the gross selling price. Yung pinakita natin kanina doon sa template. Please take note of this one. Kung yung VAT hindi billed separately in the document of sale, yung selling price is deemed to be inclusive of VAT. Anong ibig nito sabihin? Kung doon sa ating document of sales, yung sales invoice mo, kunwari, hindi nakalagay doon. Walang separate line item about sa VAT. Okay? If the VAT is not billed separately. Ibig sabihin, yung amount na yon na makikita natin sa sales invoice, kasama po doon si VAT. And we have to remove the VAT for us to determine how much is the gross selling price. Okay? Sasampulan natin yan sa pamamagitan ng mga exercises. In the case of sale, barter, or exchange of real property subject to VAT, yung gross selling price shall mean the consideration stated in the sales document or the fair market value, whichever is higher. Okay? Pagdating sa mga bentahan ng mga real properties na subject sa VAT or vatable transactions, pag sinabi natin na vatable transactions, the subject to VAT. Okay? Yun nga lang, we have to determine if the amount is VAT inclusive or VAT exclusive. I will give a separate sample transactions dito para mas ma-identify natin, ma-compute natin magkano yung gross selling price, kung VAT inclusive or VAT exclusive yung mga transactions. Please take note lang dito kapag exchange, barter, sale of real properties na subject to VAT, ang kinakailangan nating i-consider is yung consideration na nakapaloob doon sa sales document or yung fair market value, whichever is higher. Please take note of that one. Okay? Pag sinabi nating fair market value, hindi na po ito bago sa inyo, Mula nung nagkaroon tayo ng accounting na subject, na i-introduce na yung concept ng fair market value. Now, for sa mga real properties, sales, barter, or exchange, it is the higher between the fair market value as determined by the commissioner, at yung commissioner na ito is the Commissioner of Internal Revenue, the Commissioner of the BIR. Okay? Or the fair market value as shown in the schedule of values of the provincial and city assessors. Okay, yung mga nasa city hall natin, city office, provincial office, yung mga assessors na nakabase doon sa mga real property tax declarations. Pag wala yung zonal value, kasi whichever is higher between the fair market value as determined by the Commission of Internal Revenue, by the Commissioner of BIR, or the fair market value as shown in the schedule of values, which is your zonal value. Okay. Of zonal value as determined by the Commissioner, the gross selling price refers to the market value shown in the latest real property tax declaration or consideration, whichever is higher. Kung wala daw tayong zonal value na dinetermine ng commissioner, ito yung gagamitin natin, the fair market value as provided in the real property tax declaration. Yung tinatawag natin na tax deck. Okay? So, number 2. This one. Okay? If the gross selling price is based naman sa zonal or market value of the property, kung ang ginagamit natin is based on the zonal or market value, etong value na ito, it is deemed to be exclusive of VAT, hindi pa kasama. Okay, pag na-identify natin yung amount based dito sa tax declaration, okay, based on the zonal or market value, yung amount na makikita natin dyan, hindi pa po kasama dyan yung VAT. Papatungan pa po natin ito ng 12% VAT. Okay? For us to determine the 12% VAT. I hope klaro po tayo dito. So that is for the sale of goods or properties. Ang basis natin is the gross selling price. Now, papaano naman po pag sale of services? Serbisyo ang binibenta natin. Ang ating tax base dito ay gross receipts. Okay? Gross selling price, pag nagbebenta tayo dito ng mga tangible products. Okay? Pag merchandise tayo. Pero pag service type tayo dito, gross receipts. Ano ang kaibahan nila? Una, makikita ninyo dito sa ating format, sa ating template. Nakalagay dito, cash received, cash na natanggap, actually and constructively. May 3 asterisk dito, nakalagay dito sa baba, receivables for sale of services although earned are not included in the computation of VAT payable. Cash received lamang ang pinag-uusapan natin. Cash basis tayo dito, class. Pagdating sa gross receipts Ang pinag-uusapan natin dito ay actual na pera na natanggap. Okay? Hindi kasama yung mga receivables. Kasi pagdating sa sale of goods or properties based on gross selling price, at doon kasama yung mga receivables, no? Kasi 'di ba, pag mga merchandise type of business, pwedeng sales on account. Pag sales on account, kasama yan sa gross selling price natin. Pero pagdating sa mga sale of services, ang kino-consider natin dito ay actual cash received, no? So hindi kasama dito yung collections, yung receivables, no? Sorry ha, sa nabanggit ko na hindi kasama yung collections. Hindi po kasama dito yung mga for collections, yung mga receivables for the sales of services. Pero kasama dito yung mga advance deposits, yung mga unearned revenues, no? Advance collections, advance payments for future products, okay? Material charges for services. So basta meron tayong natanggap na pera, irrespective kung it applies to the current sales or for future projects, gross receipts natin yan. At yan yung magiging basis natin for the 12% VAT. So you see the difference ha? Pag sales of services, based tayo sa cash basis. Kung may natanggap tayo na pera. Pag gross, pag sale of goods or properties, accrual basis tayo. Based on gross selling price. Okay? Of course, after applying yung mga discounts, returns, and allowances, plus excise tax if applicable. Okay? And then, dito syempre, seller tayo dito. So, yung mako-compute natin na 12% VAT, that is your output VAT, ibabawas, ikakaltas natin kung may mga input VAT. Okay? Same explanation before. So, paano ba yung gross receipts? Ito lang, explanation. Ito, reiteration. Pag-uulit lang ng ipinaliwanag ko sa inyo kanina. Yung gross receipts, this is the total amount of money or its equivalent representing contract price, compensation, service fee, rental or royalty, including the amount charged for materials supplied with the services and deposits applied as payments for services rendered, including yung mga advance payments actually or constructively received. Okay? O during the taxable period for the services performed or to be performed for another person, excluding VAT. Okay? So, dapat hindi kasama dito sa gross receipts yung VAT. Kasi VAT is pinapataw doon sa amount na sinisingil natin. Hindi dapat natin ito sinasama. Kasi nga, di ba, base natin yan eh. That is your tax. Kung isinama mo yung VAT dyan, nag-duplicate, no? Nag-double taxation ka for the VAT. Nag-charge ka ng 2 beses. Okay? Constructively received or constructively received or constructive receipt. Ano ba ang tinutukoy nito? Pag sinabi natin constructive receipt, when the money, consideration, or its equivalent is placed at the control of the person who rendered the service, restrictions by the payer. Kung may natanggap ka na pera, advance payments ito, walang restriction si payer, si buyer, si purchaser. Constructively received na yan. Isasama mo yan sa gross receipt na pag-a-applyan ng 12% VAT. Alright? Yan class ha. Examples. Deposits in bank, okay, which are made available to the seller of services na walang restrictions. Unrestricted cash, dideposito sa bangko mo. That's one. Issuance by the debtor of a notice to offset any debt or obligation and acceptance thereof by the seller as payment for services rendered. Okay? Issuance by the debtor of a notice to offset any debt obligation and acceptance thereof by the seller as payment for services rendered. Okay? Transfer of the amounts retained by the payer to the account of the contractor. Eto meron akong discussion on doctrine of constructive receipt mula sa aking income taxation na video lecture. You can check that out. Hindi ko nga lang na-identify dito anong specific na video lecture. Pero kinapture ko na mismo yung mga slides doon. Okay? Because responsibility, sabi kasi doon, the gain must be realized or received. Okay? So dito papasok yung recognition natin ng mga constructive receipts, no? Kasi ang sinasabi doon, it is not the actual receipt but the right to receive that determines when to include an amount in the gross income. An amount is constructively received when it is set aside and made available to payer without substantial. So, etong naka-highlight, ito yung tinutukoy natin sa doctrine of constructive receipt. Example, okay? Si George, na-inform siya, na-notify siya na yung kanyang check dated December 16 is already available at pwede na niya po itong makolekta anytime, makuha, no? Hindi pa nakokolekta, hindi pa napuntahan ni George, nakuha niya yung check until January 30, 2021. The question is, taxable of 2020, is the check constructively received? Natanggap niya na ba yun? Okay? The answer is, George constructively received the check in December 2020 and is taxable in 2020. Another case, no? An employer issued a bonus check to an employee on December 31, 2020, but asked her to hold it for a few days until the company could make deposits to is the income constructively received. Si employer nakatanggap daw ng check, bonus check, okay, on December 31. Pero ang sabi, si employee yung nakatanggap ng check from the employer. Pero ang sabi sa kanya ni employer, hawakan mo muna yan for a few days. Wag mo munang i-deposito, no? Until such time na meron kaming fund para may mo. Otherwise, pag dideposito mo yan sa ngayon, sa account mo, tatalbog yan kasi walang laman. Okay? Walang laman yung kanilang bank account. But the question is, yung income ba constructively received? The answer is no. It is not constructively received on December 31 kasi walang sufficient funding si employer. Although meron siyang natanggap na check si employee, pero hindi po actively received kasi merong restrictions. Sinasabi dito na hold mo muna yan kasi wala pang laman. So technically, no? Although na-receive mo yan, nakahawa ka na ng check pero constructively received, no, kasi merong restriction. Okay? So please take note of those examples. I hope na intindihan po ninyo yan, We are on the context of gross receipts, gross selling price, no? Kaya nga dito, meron tayong in-explain kasi sinasabi dito, no? And advance payments actually or constructively received. So kung may natanggap tayo na collection, may natanggap tayo na cheque, we have first to identify, yes, actually received mo yan. Pero, constructively received ba yan? Kasi kung constructively received yan, okay, during the taxable period, we have to know dapat wala itong restrictions. That is why I have to pick up some slides from the income taxation video lecture for me to explain to you the doctrine of constructive receipts. Okay? So hanggang dito muna tayo, class, sa ating discussion sa basis of value added. Sorry, nasabit tuloy ako. Patapos na no? So, from the basis of value-added tax. If you have questions on our discussion or video lecture, please let me know para ma-accommodate ko ang inyong mga tanong. And I hope nakatulong ito para maintindihan ninyo yung mga konsepto dito sa ating value-added tax. I'll see you sa mga susunod na video lectures. Bye-bye!